Resorcio. Find, share, create.
We have another question coming in from Susan, and she asks, how can we evaluate or assess a candidate to our requirement? I guess this is from the HR's perspective that she's asking.
Okay, so one thing I would say is the resume. That's why I always tell people when you're changing a job, like you want to do into, for example, you want to become a recruiter, and use the jargons in the resume. When you create a resume for a recruiter, okay, staffing, stakeholder management, resource management, right? Because the first person as a recruiter, if I'm looking for a resume, I will look for those jargons, because especially if it's a technical hiring, I will not have too much of knowledge on the technical side, right? So there are managers who have told me, Smita, look for this, right? And I'm going to give the search accordingly in LinkedIn or in any of the portals. So I would say when you create the JD for a rec, just make sure that you draft your resume properly, use the right jargons. That's one way your CV gets shortlisted by the recruiter, right? And then it goes, because the recruiter doesn't understand any of the technical stuff. They just go only by these jargons. And if it's a very young recruiter who started their career, they don't spend, I mean, not everybody spends so much of time on the resume and try to give a chance. No, that's not the attitude of every recruiter, right? So make sure that your resume is drafted so much similar to the JD so that it gets shortlisted, and use the correct jargons. Whatever jargon is used in the job description, use the same thing so that when they search, your CV pops up.
We did say we'll end at 7:30, but I guess there are a couple of more questions coming in. So can we extend it by another 5-10 minutes? Is it fine with you, Smita?
Yeah, okay.
Right, thank you. So we have, okay, as an appendage to that question that Susan asked, somebody else asks us, for a career change, is certification an important role? How important a role does certification play? And this person is looking for a career change, I guess.
Before Smita answers that question, I would like to add an addendum to that question, because now micro courses, micro certifications, micro credentials, these are the buzzwords. So like, no, it is a full-time course, and certification is one thing, and micro courses or attending like small or gaining small certifications, it is another thing. So like, if you could, while you answer, if you could club both things, it would be really good, I think.
See, when a JD is created, job description, most of the JDs you have seen, even for Cisco or any company, they will say this certification is preferred, but most of them, they don't say mandatory. Very few. Even for a project manager, they say PMP or Agile or Scrum or any of this is preferred, right? So it's always good to have, and you get the weightage for sure. There's no doubt on that. Your CV holds more value. And especially why I said when you're looking for a career change, see what is that you have done, right? So when you approach an employer saying that I want to change from this to this, the first thing which they are going to say, okay, fine, what did you do about it? How can I see that you are passionate and you want to change the career? Have you got yourself updated on that new thing? It need not be certification. It can be any training, I'm saying. Need not be something, but have this guy spend time on getting himself updated on that new career, what he wants to get into. That is something which everybody, so that's a way to convince. So even if when I go to the campus, I always think there are 50 people who have been selected for the HR round, and you can take only 10, right? And all of them, the score is more or less the same. So how do you decide, right? And when you talk to them, there are some candidates, kids who are very impressive in the sense, not the way they talk, but they've done a lot of things outside their normal studies, right? It can be extracurricular, it can be some certification, it can be extra project. I've created a mobile app. It may be small things, but that really catches me saying, okay, he is different compared to than a guy who has not done anything, just scored good 90 marks, 95 marks, but compared to another person who has got maybe 80% but has done so many other things. Definitely I prefer that second person, right? So certification or upskilling is very important, especially for a fresher or somebody who's looking for a career change. I don't say that micro or the regular or whatever, but yes, you should have spent some amount of some effort on that.
I think we'll just take 2 more questions. And this one is, okay, the person asks, at what point does switching too much show up as reflect a red flag on a resume? Switching too many careers or positions or companies.
Okay. Yes, everybody wants to have a stability, which talks about your, it's a stability which talks about, right? If you are somebody who has changed every 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, it depends again on the hiring manager. Some hiring managers are okay with that. They don't say that they don't see that as a problem, but there are most of the people, yes, they prefer to have a stability because everybody wants the person to be with them for at least minimum of 2 years, because a lot of time and money spent on the person, right? Be it training or whatever, right? By the time you join and you be productive, it's going to be minimum of 6 months, right? And then if you're resigning, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money, right? So yes, they will definitely see if the person is stable looking at your CV. So stability is important, but if you have the right reason, if you're able to convince a recruiter or hiring manager, I have changed jobs because of maybe I was laid off, or maybe I was in a contract job. It was only for 6 months. I didn't have a choice. I have to change, which is okay. So you should be able to justify and convince the manager with the reason, right reason.
Yeah. And we have one more question coming in. This person asks, in the days of, I'm just going to, say it in as few words as I can, because it's a very lengthy question. It says, this guy says, in these days where you have remote interviews happening, and you have Google ready within reach for any kind of an answer, how morally right is it? And what are the chances of not getting caught that you have Googled an answer and given it off?
You can get caught very easily, very easily. Online student Googling, the teacher is able to pick up, right? Even a kid is not able to, in an online class, which has got 40, 50 students I'm talking about. So in Google, you can't even move your eye contact, right? Your full focus is on you. So the more you change your hands, you change your eye contact, you try to open, it's very easy. They might not say it on the face. There are some interviewers I've seen actually who say on the face. And there are people, there's so many actually, because I was a part of hiring around 500 pharma graduates basically in my last assignment, and this is a span of in 6 months we had to hire 500. So imagine how many interviews, and every day there were some 40, 50 interviews and all. And there's so many managers come back to me and said that it's not the real candidate, somebody else is giving the voice and he's just changing the lips, he's moving his lips. So it's very easy actually. So don't think that you can fool, it's very easy to find out.
So once again, we come down to the core core message out here. Honesty is something that the interviewer is going to look out for. And of course, you need to be thoroughly prepared while facing an interview in today's world of high competition. I'm afraid we have many more questions coming in, but then we are running out of time, so we'll have to conclude this session. Thank you, Smita and Robbins. It's been an extremely riveting and engaging conversation. You have provided a lot of insights, which I'm sure all our attendees are going to benefit from. And I myself, for one, I'm going to go back and look at my own LinkedIn profile today. Not that I'm looking for a career change, Robbins, but yes, yeah, we need to project ourselves as well as we can out there in the career field. So thank you once again. And at this point, I'd like to thank all the attendees as well. And I want to remind those who have joined in a bit late that today's session will be put up on our YouTube channel. In case you haven't subscribed to it, please do. Resorcio is available on YouTube. We are also available on Instagram and Facebook. And if you have any further questions, you might direct them to contact at Resorcio. We'll see and we'll try our best to get you your answers. And all the best for everything that you have to do in future. And we have many more sessions planned and lined up. Watch our space and we'll let you know soon what the next session that's coming up this month is. Thank you. Thank you, Smita. Thank you, Robbins.